Check this out. All right, everyone, I just wanted to tell you I'm super excited to continue this Millionaire series of our Beachbody coaches and dear friends. Tonight on the call, we have Mike Ryan, who is an elite superstar, 4-time elite diamond coach. He was on the cab with me for the 2 years that I served as one of the other cab members. And he also went Elite 10 the first year with me, and we traveled to Europe, where we again traveled to Europe because life is that good. And we had an amazing time witnessing history in countries that was the first time they had a King's Day instead of a Queen's Day. And that's just something that his savvy wife found for us, and we juggled our dates around. So we had the opportunity to spend quality time together in 3 countries. That was amazing. But we're here. I know it's not about the money. I know that Millionaire is a status or a benchmark they give us, and it really reflects, I think, like that your first year in network marketing, where it's a direct reflection of the number of people that every time a new person hops on, like I'm trying to look at you and then you jump to the right and then jump to the left. It's like, football. It's not like football. I don't know anything about football. But anyways, it's a direct reflection of the number of people whose lives you've been able to impact over the years. And it's a number, it's a benchmark, it's a lot of influence. And we want to learn from you today. And my very first question that I have for you is, how did coaching find such an outstanding individual as you, Mike Ryan? Tell me your story.
It was written on one of those bathroom stall walls, like for good time call, and I called it, and it was this coach. And I was like, wow, that's creative. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm going to be taking notes, FYI. So
don't write that first one down.
I won't. It was just funny. I'll just smile at that one.
Sorry, it's hard for me to be serious with the Monica Ward because she's she's really a big deal in my book, and love her and Dave to pieces. And I know this is a limited time, and I have to take the time anyway just to tell you guys are so freaking fortunate to get to work with them, because they're really superhuman beings, and I couldn't possibly say enough great things about them. So just take my word for it. They're a big deal, and you'll learn a lot. They have walked so many miles in this business and done so many great things. And I think maybe, when I got started, it was, I bought P90X on TV, just like so many people did. It was 2008. It was the real estate crash, and we were in the process of losing everything we owned. And so I went from high times to, a very sudden crash where in a single day, I had almost $400 million in real estate deals die in a day. And then I just knew what was coming. And what was coming is we're going to have to give these houses back. We're going to have to give the cars back to the banks. We're going to have to start over. We're going to have to move, get our kids in different schools. A whole series of events were going to happen because of this one day. I didn't even really understand how it even happened in the first place. It took a long time to really learn how the financial markets collapsed and all that good stuff. But through the process of 2008, I could paint a picture of that year as the horrendous piece of junk year that it was, or I can just share that, that was also the year I got my health back and we got back in great shape. And I got to tell you, it gave Kelly and I something to do together. It was a very significant milestone that we got to celebrate together. And I was no easy person in those first few weeks. The first few weeks were pretty rough in that workout for us. I mean, like storming out of the room pissed off. Like I was out of shape. I was an ex-athlete. I am an ex-athlete. I was an athlete. And I had a lot of injuries over the years. I've had 8 different surgeries. I just had my shoulder rebuilt this year. But I guess the thing is that it gave us something to do together. And my mission for 2008 really was to stay married. So we signed up to be coaches, but my foremost thing was that I just knew that so many people who I respected warned me. They're like, when you go through a significant crash like this, we don't know many people that have made it out married. And even to date, I've only even met one other couple anywhere who went through what we went through and then stayed together. Like most people just call it quits through that process because it's so crazy. But the same day that we lost our homes, the same day the banks reneged on short sales and said, hey, we're going to foreclose on your houses, because I had a primary house and I had rentals. And unfortunately, I had the first mortgage through the same bank on all of them, was the day I was also a winner in the $1 million body contest with Beachbody. And I won $1,000 in this thing. And the $1,000 was not going to change my life. However, I was in the hunt for the grand prize, back then was $250,000. And I didn't know the competition I was up against. I didn't know anything about anything. I was just doing P90X and having fun, and that's what I was doing. And so I did more with our business in 8 days than I did in the prior 8 months. And the only change agent was my enthusiasm level. My enthusiasm level to share what I already believed in went through the roof. And that's a big thing, because when you think about when you're selling something, when we're all in sales in life. Like so many people say, oh, I hate sales, or I'm not a salesperson. Well, yeah, we all are, because we all have to sell people on ideas. We have to sell our kids on the idea of what time they go to bed, all those types of things. And so I rocked this 8 days, and I'm like, oh my gosh, the writing's on the wall. This is what I need to be doing. Real estate's super dead. There couldn't be my specialty was land development and high-end home sales. The last two things that were ever going to go on, for a long time there. And so then I screwed it up pretty good for most of 2009. Like I think I talked more people out of it than I ever talked into it. And I was okay with failing forward. I was okay with putting numbers on my side, but I didn't realize that there was a better way to do it. I just was doing what I had to do to survive, really. And I think that's a big fundamental difference in how so many people treat this business. I treat this business like I need to survive on it. So many people treat it like a $40 business. They treat it like a hobby, or like something that it can come and go in their life as they please. And if tragedy happens in their life of some scale, whether big or small, this seems to be the thing that a lot of people dismiss. And a lot of people just put on the back burner and say, oh, well, I had a bad August, or, oh, the last quarter was just rough, or, oh, my dog died, or, oh, whatever. Like life is going to happen to you, to me, to everybody. And if you knew all the crazy negative things that have happened in my life through the last 6 years that I was a coach, you would just be like, seriously, how do you deal with that much stuff? And the thing is, we all get that stuff in our life. You're going to have tragedy. You're going to have things happen. I don't want to sound all doom and gloom, but I mean, my dad was in this crazy battle with cancer. It was multiple years of being on like an any minute thing because he's in all these different surgeries. And he happened to be in such good physical fitness from riding his bike so much. Like he was 86 years old and he's riding his bike 100, 120 miles a week. He was in such good fitness and he ate clean, he used Shakeology every day, that he could endure more treatments than most people would endure. Every doc would tell us going into these cancer surgeries, okay, well, you guys have to realize, have his affairs in order because not many people make it through the surgery, but he wants to opt for the surgery. I'm going, oh my gosh, it's a crazy thing. And he would make it, and he would make it, and we'd get more time together. And I was so grateful for that time. And what I learned from him in this process was that he literally looked at it as a process. He didn't look at going through all those surgeries as anything but that. I don't know how else to explain it. He just looked at it as, hey, this is a process. Just like driving from Bakersfield to the hospital in LA was a process. He broke it down that way. And we were sitting at this doctor visit one day, and it's this world-renowned cancer surgeon at Cedars-Sinai in Beverly Hills. And the doctors in Bakersfield had thrown their hands in the air, and they're like, there's nothing else we can do for him here. You need to go to the best. That's your last shot. Go there. So I'm the youngest of 6 kids. 2 of my brothers and I went down on this visit, one of my brothers and I, and we're sitting there waiting for the doc, trying to keep it light. And when the doc comes in, he asks a couple questions. He's starting to take some notes. And as he was writing, my dad says, hey, this is number 6. And the guy goes, you have 6 kids? He goes, so far. And we're laughing. He's almost 87 years old. He's freaking dying. And he goes, yeah, he goes, this one, he's all in those workouts. You see on TV, that P90X stuff? Well, yeah, this company keeps sending my kid on trips. You need to talk to him. And I'm going, oh my gosh, like, how can you make this about me right now? This is completely your time. And the doc looks at me and he goes, yeah, my wife said I need to lose some weight. And I'm like, oh my God, everybody needs what we have. And so through every journey, thick and thin, big and tall, whatever, all the tough stuff in life, I just realized that like everybody does need what we have. It's just finding a way to relate to them, to have a conversation, you know? And so like in that particular instance, it takes empathy to sell anybody on an idea. So obviously the first thing I'm thinking is, well, this guy probably has no time in his life. He's a world-renowned cancer surgeon. He's going to be in and out of this visit as fast as he can, you know, give the right time, and then he's on to the next one. And so that's what I brought up. It's like, hey, so your wife wants you to lose some weight, but you probably don't have much time, do you? He's like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? I said, well, I have a solution if you're ready. I go, do you have a break room in here somewhere you probably try to hole up and just sleep when you can and hide out? He's like, oh yeah. And he goes, and I'll never tell anybody where it is because I'm just getting sleep around here. Like, bingo, I'm relating to this guy. I said, well, what if you could just, you know, take your laptop and just do like a 10-minute workout? Can you do 10 minutes of something? He's like, I'll give you 10 minutes. I'm like, perfect. And then there was my in, you know, and then I happen to have Shakeology single serving packets in my backpack with me. And so then I shared that, and it all started because my dad brought it up. I didn't even know how to bring it up. It was just my dad wanted the attention off of him. He didn't want to talk about cancer for like 10 minutes. And so those were my first few years as a coach. And the same year that I went bankrupt from that market crash was the same year that I went 5-star diamond. I think I went 5-star diamond like the same week. I don't remember what I finished the year out rank wise, but I was a top 10, you know, elite coach that year that Monica and I went to France. And so I don't know, long-winded answer, but the real thing is, I think just the difference is how much you appreciate what you have. And part of why I started off with talking about how wonderful human beings that Monica and Dave are, you have to appreciate that, because without the appreciation for who they are and what they've done and what you have the ability to go do, you're probably not going to do as much with it as you could. And that's a big thing. I mean, you know, I could be on Facebook talking about the cure to cancer, and you might say, I don't have cancer, and I don't know anybody that has cancer, and it might not be important to you. Well, this one, I have to believe, is really important to you, because you're here, you're one of our top people, and you're on the quest to go learn more, do more, be more, empower you more, some version of, hey, I want to do more, get better. How do I succeed? And really, it's not a big sexy answer. I mean, it's embracing the basics. It's embracing that you just go to all the events and you're always in Success Club. And imagine what your team would look like if you had, say you had 10 great people that you sponsored, and then say those 10 brought in, 6 or 7 people each, and those brought in a few people each, and you just took that core group, not even a huge organization, right? Just a core group of people, and no matter what, the non-negotiable thing for your core group was Success Club and being at all the events, right? Summit, Super Saturdays, you're going to go to all these things. Look, that's like a sign. The train just goes off. What would that look like? I mean, that would be amazing. I mean, seriously amazing. Like when you see these people with big teams and you're like, oh my God, look at their list of people. They have like another 100 people in Success Club this month. That's what you want. I look at those things and I go, that's what I want. I want that. And it's not even for me. It's because I know what that's going to do for all the people who are striving for that. It's a big thing.
What do you think Success Club represents?
Duplication and lives changed. To me, every time I hear about Success Club points, that's a life that's potentially changed. Not everybody's going to pick up the weights. Not everybody's going to use Shakeology every day. But you talk to enough people, you're going to, and then I've always had this thing where I've said that the only difference in a rockstar coach and a discount coach is really the quality of the conversation that you had to enlighten them and how well you got them started. That's a big thing there. And so, I mean, out of every 5 or 10 coaches, only 1 or 2 do it anyway. So, I mean, a lot of people kind of naturally default to a discount coach when I really think they just haven't been related to and they haven't been enlightened. And after you can do those things, as you're relating to them and enlightening them about what this is, then you empower them. And so when they go, hey, what should I do? Well, it's not this crazy penthouse in the sky. It's the basics. Let's focus on the first floor. And too many people, I know too many people on my team, and I know this is endemic of most people's teams, too many people are looking at pie in the sky and going, okay, I'm going to go build this giant castle. Great. You got to do that one block at a time, and it starts on ground level. And I mean, just like Monica, I mean, we role model the same behaviors nonstop. Like we probably aren't doing things a whole lot different than we always have done them, where we're a product of the products. We're always into personal development, and we're always in Success Club. we go to all the events, like we mastermind, we brainstorm with other smart people and people that we like. And it's really a pretty simple answer. It's not necessarily the sexy answer. I'm not going to sell you a $10,000 training and say this is going to cure your problems, but a lot of people will spend money on those trainings to cure problems that they could just, if they would just embrace that the real opportunity is disguised by work, or work is disguised the opportunity. I don't know how you say it, but whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's just embracing that you've got to do the work. We can't be afraid of the work. And like, if I worked at some, I don't know, Best Buy, and I only sold 3 TVs in a month, they'd probably fire me. They'd be like, dude, you're the janitor or get out. And like, if we do 3 deals, we're at Success Club 6, you can get a free vacation for that. Like, are you kidding me? That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think I have more questions, but I want to just take a second to process what you said, because I think it's super important. You've said some real gems. And I mean, the very first thing that Mike said was that, yeah, we sell every day. I mean, the better word for it, I took a high performers class, and they took out the word sell and replaced it with the word enroll. And that is exactly what he's referring to. It's enrollment. It's getting people to do what you want them to do for your reasons. And that could be your children, that could be your friends, it could be your peers, that could be somebody that you would like to get healthy and fit, and you're introducing them to Beachbody as their solution, and you're enrolling them. So, part of what he said when he told you the story about being in that doctor's office, that I heard, was that he was prepared.
yeah.
So he was willing to take a step back and relate to the doctor and find him a good solution. He asked him some questions, which made the doctor feel valued. And then he was prepared. He had samples in his backpack. He told you that. And I think that's a really important point. A lot of times I'm not prepared, and I have opportunities to be prepared. That's where follow-up really comes in, but that's a whole other thing. And then he leads from the front, so he wouldn't ask you to do anything that he himself isn't doing. He wouldn't ask you to be elite, which is really duplication. Let's start with pre-elite. Pre-elite is making Success Club. I know a lot of our elite contenders, we have this little FCN group, and probably you guys do too, where we're focusing on those points every month. And the thing is that if you're not in Success Club, how on earth can you expect your coaches to be in Success Club? How can you expect that duplication? The awesome thing is that is what he's doing. Mike is leading from the front, and he's telling you it's just that simple. He's taking care of himself first. He's helping by being a product of the product, and he's engaging in personal development. And what does personal development do for us? It's the part that was that change agent he talked about. It maintains enthusiasm. It's like when I want to be a brat and I do a little personal development, I take responsibility for my attitude. It's a whole game changer in 10 pages. It's a game changer for me. All of a sudden, I can be enthusiastic, and he used the word empowering people. So that's where the duplication comes in, because you teach people, talk about the real, authentic transactions in your life that turned into Success Club points. And we're not gross like that. We're really about changing lives, and each one of those points represents a changed life or an opportunity at a changed life. So you were talking, we kind, you got to like top 10 elite and 5-star diamond. What was the path? Like, what got you to superstar and millionaire? And take me into a few more layers of leadership.
Okay. So just like you, who originated the Fit Club, I think I was maybe in the third or fourth person. I think it was you and Mark Briggs and Tommy and me. We're were the early fit clubs of the network. And so I built with fit clubs back in the day. And what I found is that it was like I was duplicating a version of what Pete Pena in Vegas was doing they held meetings all the time. And I just knew, okay, well, meetings make sense because we always meet with people, whether it's in a coffee shop or in a boardroom or in a living room or by the car or whatever. You're just chit-chatting with people is all it really is. But you're chit-chatting with somebody who knows how to present the material. And so that helped with signups, that helped with enrollment rather, and it showed people a glimpse of what we were doing. But I think the silver lining, I was thinking about this the other day, the silver lining to the fit clubs, I didn't realize this maybe until I just moved this week. Today's 1 week here. The silver lining was that I got to see my people every week, my local leaders, and somehow it put Bakersfield on the map. Like, here's this town where it's a great family town. It really is. But, it's the butt of a lot of jokes. It's got the worst air quality in the nation. It's, there's a lot of great places to live in the world that are probably nicer. And, but yet when you talk about Beachbody community, they bring up how Bakersfield's this awesome place. And all they know about it is that there's this team and they're doing all this stuff. Well, all that really is positive energy. And when you get to be around your people, you have positive energy. And personally, I don't deal with negativity. Like, as soon as I can get it off my plate, it's off my plate. My focus, the way I think, is very solution focused. So I'll listen to your problem, but as soon as you've got it out, we're done with it. And I'll get people and coaches who, call or come by or we're meeting or whatever, and they're talking about what they have going on. And then they want to reiterate the problem after they've stated the problem. It's like, no, the problem's on the table. Let's talk about the solution. That's it. Don't give it more ownership. Let's give the ownership to the solution. And so my path of consistency was embracing really a consistent path of meeting with my people. So I found that as I had a weekly engagement with my leaders, that made a big difference. But then, like, I'm only talking about local people, and I have team in, most states and most provinces of Canada as that market opened up. And so the key is in how do you communicate effectively with your people? And ultimately, and I learned a lot of things the hard way. I don't know if that's a stubborn thing or what that is, but you need to know what's going on in their lives. And it's not to be invasive. It's just to know what's going on. So what if somebody's going through a really significant thing? You don't lead with, big high energy and rah, rah, rah. What if somebody in their life is dying? Or what if they lost somebody? Well, that's a really personal, important, sensitive subject. And I don't want to be this, hey, how's your Beachbody? How's your successful points? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, you start a conversation with, hey, how's it going? How is everything? And you do a little catch up. And it's not to provoke problems. It's not to do anything but have a little bit of a catch up. So I've had a, consistent communication with my leaders, know what's going on in their lives. So I know when to push and I know when to pull back. I go to every event. That's just non-negotiable. I mean, people talk all the time. Like, I had somebody tell me about how the Super Saturday that's coming up in a few weeks, that they're not going to it. And this is a person who's really kicking butt. And I'm going, well, okay, I get it and I don't get it, because I personally scheduled my entire next 12 months out. I'm always 12 months ahead. And as sapphire as I am, that's kind of a big deal to me to have a calendar 12 months out. I know when the events are, and I plan all my kids' stuff accordingly. And I let the soccer teams know that, hey, I'm happy to coach, but on these dates, I'm gone. I need an assistant. I need somebody to step up and cover this. And if you need this certification, make sure you get it, because I'm not going to be there on this date. It's like one in a season. It's never much. Maybe it's twice. But in the run-up of all that, I've spent at least a couple thousand hours volunteering at kids' sports, kids' schools, preschools, you name it, Boy Scouts. Like, we've done it all. I probably have more time around my kids than most moms do, but yet I built a business all on the side and, on my terms. Like, I didn't buy into the status quo of I had to go show up to a job from 9 to 5. It just wasn't the thing. So I don't know, the run up to 15-star had to do with, aside from communicating with those people weekly, it was tracking those people. So I had a diamond diagram on my wall, left side, right side, left leg, right leg. And then those circles drove me nuts until I filled them up, till I helped them fill them up. And also, as you're helping somebody go diamond, they fully need to know on that path, at the beginning of that path, that diamond doesn't mean some golden egg parachute that you're like, money, money, money. There's 12 people. somebody could retail that much volume in a day and be worth more value than a Diamond's organization if they're all just on Shakeology auto ship. So they need to know that Diamond is a stepping stone, and Star Diamonds is where you're starting to build more as a leader. 5-star Diamond is what I've always just kind of personally considered, hey, that's where you should, be looking towards when you want to go full time. You will get people that go full time early, and if the volume's not there, and say that they're, say they're a 1-star Diamond or they're a Diamond coach, and they're really involved and they're doing everything, but for whatever life circumstances, they're a full-time coach. That's a slippery slope in a sense, because they're calling themselves something that denotes I'm making full-time money when they're not. And so, make sure that as you're going, that you're very well aware of, what each thing comes with. I mean, it's a business and it takes time to build, but every other business takes time to build. And, I've owned real estate shops. I could tell you the last one's overhead was like $67,000 a month. I mean, that was crazy. It was destined for failure, and I didn't even know it, because one hiccup in the market and it was done. And I made the same kind of money last year that I did my best year in real estate, and my overhead's a bag of Shakeology, like food. It's crazy. I mean, really, it is. It's really crazy. I mean, you'll see people make posts about, oh, you can buy this franchise for this much and this franchise for this much. They're usually off by like $2 million. People say, oh, you can buy a McDonald's franchise for $300,000. Like, no, you can't even buy one anymore. They're all gone. Plus, they'd be millions of dollars. To how long would it take you to make that money back? It takes a long time. And, neighborhoods change, things turn. It's interesting when you go into traditional business, how hard it is to make money. Hence why business schools teach that it takes, they used to teach you need 2 to 3 years of capital to be able to survive. Now they teach it's 3 to 5. Some business schools teach 5 to 7. And the banks don't loan on that stuff anyway. I mean, like, why do you think it's easier to go get a car loan or a home loan than it is to go get a loan to buy an apartment complex? Because they want you to have a car where you can drive to a job, and they want you to have a house where you have just enough of a pressure situation that you need the job to go back and pay for the house. And finance is really what has always controlled society. And if you just kind of look at the structures of societies and how they work efficiently, that's a very stable thing. It brings stability. Homeownership brought stability. But when they changed it to where you didn't have to have 20% down, you could buy it with 5, 3, 1% down, no money down. That entered in a lot of risk to the market, and then things changed. So our society has really been bred around cars and homes. You know what I mean? But yet we have this business where we can go make incredible money, work from wherever we want. As long as you have a smartphone, you can literally work from anywhere. I mean, that's like, it's really kind of mind blowing. Really, I don't know. I was reading somebody's post today on Facebook about all their corporate 6-figure earners, and how if that person loses their job, it's a very difficult job to replace. It's not like losing a job that you're making $40,000 a year on that you can find another $40,000 a year job. They're in a job that's very few and far between. So to me, there's more of a reason to build what we have now than ever, because just like when I lost everything in that market crash of 2008, I never knew how vulnerable I was. I just didn't. And when people talk to me about job security, I respectfully nod and kind of agree. But my thought process is always, you have no idea. You have no idea. And statistically, 60% of bankruptcies in America come from one medical issue. One. So if the vast majority of the country can't handle one medical issue because of cost, well, holy cow, how are they going to pay for it? Going to bankruptcy? I mean, and then wreck their credit for 7 to 10 years and be able to buy nothing, and the bankruptcy, they can take everything away. And I mean, it's fascinating when you just, and I don't want to sound all doom and gloom, but I guess my position is everybody needs what we have. It's not everybody's time to say yes, but everybody does need what we have. And we've got 3 shots, right? We've got world-class fitness, world-class nutrition, and a world-class business. One or all of those things is going to make some sort of improvement to a person's life. And who be it that, I mean, like, why would we keep that from people? Be proud of what you do and don't be apologetic about it. It's even like having to change the word selling to enrolling or selling to helping. I get that, but I also feel like we're being a little bit too sensitive sometimes in those things, because we've all been sold things. We're all carrying around a phone that somebody sold us. We're driving a car that somebody sold us. We're wearing clothes that somebody sold us. Everybody is selling stuff. That's life. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I think there's a genuine great thing about if you're going to be a baker and you're going to go have a little corner shop and sell bread and sell products, and you can make money and you're going to provide for your family and you're going to donate when somebody needs some help or some local cause, you're doing a good thing for society. Maybe you're creating some jobs. And so why not? Why not embrace that we are selling? And selling a challenge pack or selling an idea of a life change, I don't know. It's all good stuff to me.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think the part of enrollment was that, you say doom and gloom, but anyone who gets the opportunity to be around you for 5 seconds, I think we started off the conversation with giggles, is that you are very enthusiastic and so fun to be around, but you're also a very thoughtful individual. You are considerate of your wife, you're considerate of your children, you're intentional about everything that you're doing. It may come from a playful perspective because that's just how you handle things. Yeah. And that's why we relate, because we're both really playful. When he made Millionaire Club, my grandma, who, if any of you know my grandma, my Nona, she has the craziest accent and she's just a crazy little Italian lady. I felt like we were getting a little too serious in the wall of leadership, the 5-star and above. And I'm like, really what Mike Ryan needs is a FaceTime from my grandma. So he gets it. He gets me. I get him. And we're really, really lucky to be seeing him, not only in 2 weeks at leadership, but also at the retreat. It's going to be incredible. So yeah, this could be another year of the Ward Ryans. So I'll have to be up in Bend so I can scream something profound and have the choo-choo train come behind me to validate everything I say.
That's funny.
But seriously, any last words? I mean, here going back.
Am I dying? Are you killing me?
Heck no.
The firing squad. Do you have any last words?
You're done. You want a last meal. I mean, again, reiterating what I heard you say, that was super excited. Very, very valuable information was that you surround yourself around positive people. You continue to be enthusiastic. You were, taking lead by creating community. And you do not, I know you did that at a facility or at a hotel when you did your fit club, but right now in my little town, I have this little 6:15 workout group that just works out in my living room. And we are all over the place every which way. And I call them my workout wives, and they probably think I'm weird, but they're there every morning, committed. So, I really liked that you said you were solution oriented in that community. Like, you listen to a problem, but then you got to move towards a solution. Like, you got to take responsibility. You got to get over the victim mentality, because that isn't going to serve anyone. And really, honestly, I mean, I'm looking at Diane over there, who's an attorney, and she's dealing with big deal problems, not us. We're a challenge pack and how to get it, get a disc working. These are not game changer problems. These are problems that can be solved. We can do things. We don't have a big heavy duty, we have an opportunity to really change lives, but we don't have a big heavy duty business that we needed to go get massive education for and take lots of exams. And we just have to know how to share, and
but to appreciate
sell. No.
Yeah, but it's appreciating how significant this thing is, because you're talking about the attorneys, and we have every walk of life in my team, and personally, I love attorneys. I think it's easy to deal with smart people.
Me
it's easy
too.
to talk faster, and I know you love an attorney. But I didn't mean like that. But I was at our going away dinner, there's this couple that we hung out with. The wife's a DA and the husband's a public defender. And oh my gosh, if I had to listen to another story about how the dirtbags they have to surround themselves with all day long, every day, to then have a court system that's so viscerally just ready to persecute them. And like, they're the good guys. And if they make one mistake, they're telling me about some DA that made a joke and it got recorded, and this guy's about to potentially get disbarred. Here's somebody who's had this amazing legal career over a joke. I'm like, one joke. And that's something the DA should have swept under the rug and just stood up for herself. But she just inherited this office that had like 50 years of just disgusting, total crazy history of that local DAs in Kern County. Big crazy stories, right? I'm listening to stories. I'm going, man, this is your life. And I go, didn't you guys tell me something about being in student debt? Don't you still have student debt? And like, these guys are almost 40. Oh yeah, it's down to about 250 grand. I'm like, oh my God, 250 grand. Like, can you imagine telling your kids right now, go to law school and take on 250 grand to go be around dirtbags all day long? Like, maybe go do business law. But even then, it's different today than it was for so many of us. And like, I have a buddy who's an orthopedic surgeon, the guy that just rebuilt my shoulder. And he goes, Mike, I don't know if I'd tell my kids to go do what I did. He goes, it's a challenging, tricky thing. He goes, our practice is probably going to end up getting bought out. I'm a busy surgeon, so I'll do well with this deal. He goes, but the way healthcare is changing, I don't know. He goes, PAs may be the sweet spot for making money in medicine. But I mean, everything has a lifestyle and everything has an income range when you look at businesses, jobs, right? Teaching, cops, firefighters, nurses, real estate shops, attorneys, medical, whatever. Beachbody coach, it's you have an income range and you have a lifestyle range. But knowing that the landscape of society is changing, why not at least have this as a side gig to where you just have more options? To where, what if college kids now, since 86% of college graduates are moving back in with their parents because there's no jobs, what if they had the ability to go take an internship that was unpaid and wait for the job they really want? What if they just needed to buck up 2 or 3 years and they actually had the ability to do it financially, or you had the ability to do the wherewithal to help them so that they could have a life that they never could imagine possible, versus all their friends having to take these piddly jobs that are so beneath them for what they've gone through educationally. I mean, to me, there's an economic inflation that's gone on in society, and I mean, you have a master's, right? Dave has a JD, but I have all these, I mean, we have half the staff at Vanderbilt University on our team because we made a difference in their lives. Because it started with a type 1 diabetic that had profound change in her life, then her husband's life, then there are professors who lost 100 pounds that, oh my gosh, I want to go teach a new subject. Oh, my department lost its grant. Oh, and problem, situation, solution, right? So we don't have the only way, but we have the best damn way sitting in front of you right now. Why not embrace it and do like what all these top coaches are doing, where they're building, significant teams of core great people? Because we are so, like, literally, this is like infinitesimal when you think of how small Beachbody is compared to what it's going to be. And I think about saturation points, and like, there's 1.3 million realtors in the United States. We have 225,000 Beachbody coaches in North America, and people don't know what we have. People don't even know, never even heard of P90X half the time I talk to them. And it just baffles me. I'm going, wow. They're like, oh, I don't watch TV. If that's the only distribution channel besides us talking about it, and they don't watch TV because so many people don't watch cable, they don't watch the commercials, they watch a whole season of a show in a night instead of doing it where they used to watch it every Wednesday night from 8 to 9, those days are gone. Like, you manicure your life the way you want your life. So be aware that so does everybody else. And don't assume that everybody knows what we have. Don't assume that people know about coaching. Don't make any assumptions. Just be great at just meeting people and connecting and relating before you ever even bring up Beachbody. And then have a good response when people ask you what you do. Because I find that I tend to change that answer. Sorry, I'm kind of getting the hiccups. I find that I tend to change that answer sometimes depending on who I'm talking to, or maybe something they've said. Maybe there's some slant to it. I don't know what it is, but it's like, I had a flight back from somewhere this summer. I don't know what trip it was, but the guy sitting next to me, I was just introducing myself, and I decided to say, hey, so what do you do? He goes, oh, I'm one of those blood-sucking attorneys you heard about that everybody hates. And I'm like, whoa. I go, why would you say that, man? I go, I love attorneys. Attorneys are great. He's like, really? And why not? And then we had a really nice conversation about mountain bikes and the trip he was taking his kid on. And, we ended up having a really nice conversation. And it was just, so what if he's an attorney or I'm a Beachbody coach or whatever? We're just people, and everybody's got the same common things that we want. We want to have a nice life. We want to stay healthy. Nobody wants cancer. Nobody says, hey, give me type 1 diabetes. Woohoo. Like, that's crazy. But yet so many people's actions are louder than their words when they're shopping and when they're eating and when they're funneling their faces full of crazy stuff that they don't realize is not great. And so, we can be a change agent, and I make sure that I'm not coming off as the food Nazi or some crazy hardcore person that's unapproachable about it. I want to relate to people. And so to do that, I'm just conscious of other people. And, I'm okay with failure. I'm okay with knowing that if I'm awesome at what I do, I'll hit 3 for 10. Awesome. Like Jim Rohn, awesome. That's 3 for 10. So, that's batting 300. You make $5 million if you play pro baseball today, batting 300. That's kind of a big deal.
That is.
And you make $5 million a year doing this business. So what the heck?
I think like what you just told us there, again, there's 2 ways you can behave sitting on a seat in the airplane, and it's your choice. I've had people say, oh, I hate talking to people on the airplane. And I find that, I've been shut out a couple of times, but really the leadership opportunity there is to lead with initiative, to initiate a conversation. And look, they got into a good conversation about mountain biking and about spending quality time with their kids. And that man felt valued. And whether or not I guess the point would be leaving a situation better than you found it, right? So that guy felt valued. He felt, he enjoyed himself. The time probably passed really quickly. And whether or not you sold him a challenge pack or he's the next coach on your team isn't relevant. What is relevant is that you left the seat better than you found it. And that doesn't cost anything. That's a little bit of fear, that you might get rejected. But at the end of the day, that's really what we have to be committed to, not to rejection, but to the initiative to start conversations with people and stay connected with them. And I think, I heard you say as you grew into superstar leadership, it was you consistently spoke with your leaders. And that's something that I know I do too. And I'm hoping that those of you on the call, leadership starts the day you sign up your first coach. And I'm hoping that you are talking to your sponsor or your sponsor's sponsor, or going the other way where you're talking to your first coach or third coach, whatever. You're regularly staying in communication with them, because the thing is that they become your friends. They become your positive community that he's talking about. And then that community grows, and you've created this culture of people that the first step of leadership is just taking the initiative to say, hey, and leaving a person better than you found them.
Yeah. You're literally reaching a hand out to somebody. And yesterday we went to Tumalo Falls and we got to go hike way up and then way back down. And we went behind this waterfall. Now I have 3 kids. 2 of them were excited as you can't even imagine to go do this, but one of them was freaked out. And ultimately, it was having to reach a hand out and making sure that he just fully believed in me and knew that, hey, I'm not going to put you in a bad situation. It might seem a little bit scary or it might seem uncomfortable, but I'm here for you, and then we're going to do this together. I'm here for you, but you need to follow me. And finally, when he was really freaked out, I'm like, you follow me, we'll be fine. You're going to be fine. And then the perspective afterwards was, okay, that was scary at the moment, but now I get that it was doable. I just didn't like how cold the water was, but if I could do something about that, maybe I would do it again. Okay, so then there's an adjustment. And then it's helping people kind of move out of their way of their stuff. And so, just like she said, it's really just relating to people and being very genuine about what you do. And understand that you don't need anybody's permission to succeed. That was a big thing for me. When you asked about like what did it take to hit Superstar or hit Millionaires Club or whatever, what I didn't realize is maybe it was being the youngest of 6. I think that actually had a lot to do with what it was. And I'm 10 to 16 years younger than my siblings. So by the time I'm, 7.5, 8, they're all out of the house and in college owning businesses or doing whatever they're doing and getting married. And so I had a lot of authority figures growing up, and I didn't realize until much later in life that I did tend to look for their acceptance. And if I didn't get unanimous acceptance, I tended to not run with something. And so when I looked at my Beachbody business, I went, wow, I have none of my close friends from growing up and none of my family involved in my business, but yet I'm successful. And so I made a conscious decision to just bless and release. Like, that's okay. If it's not for you, totally great. I'm still going to succeed. This is where I'm going, and I'm not going to make any apologies for it. It's just what I'm going to go do because it's what I'm passionate about. And then now that I'm really successful at it and people's perceptions, now people are coming out and asking me what they're doing or how do I do it and how do they get involved. And that's great. But you don't have, it's kind of ironic because we already know everybody we need to know in life to be wildly successful if you know how to work your network right. And Bob Bodine wrote a book on that, The Power of Who. Jimmy Nelson told me to read that a couple of years ago because he's like, Mike, all I ever hear stories about you is that you know everybody. And that's part of what scared the hell out of me with moving away from Bakersfield is that I know everybody. And then my wife's best friend helped me with that as we were packing. And she's like, Mike, do you realize why you know everybody? She goes, you know more people than my husband, myself, and our 4 kids put together. And I'm like, really? She goes, you intend to go know everybody. You intend to go out and have great relationships. You intended to be that way. And like you talked about leaving a place better than you found it, leaving a person better than you found them. That's just always been who I am. I don't, the last thing I want to do is hurt anybody or offend anybody. It's totally the contrary. And so, do that with passion. Be okay with who you are. Be okay with, I wrote this thing a week ago on the wall page and it got shared around a lot. And a lot of it had to do with just being proud of who you are. And that's a big thing because so many people get hesitant and then they just kind of stop short and don't talk to the other person. And that's really ego screwing with you. You got to let the ego go and just, you know what, not everybody's going to like what you do. Not everybody's going to like you. Not everybody likes me, but there's, 350 million people in North America. There's plenty of other people out there, and that's okay. We can't be all things to all people. And so when you're marketing, just be who you are. Be proud of who you are and fly that flag. If you're a big attorney and you're a 6-figure earner and you're killing it and you have a great track record, or you have a certain specialty in this, or you're the best person in the hair salons or whatever, talk about what you know. Talk about what you're passionate about. Let the chips fall where they may.
Dave Ward is in the house, people.
Oh,
what? Right there.
What's up, buddy?
Well, to honor your time, you have given me far more than I could have ever wished for. I just want to take all those gold nuggets and say thank you super, super much. Say thank you super much. Why you not call me?
You're so welcome to me. For you.
For you. And everybody, this call is recorded, so we'll put it on the Millionaire list. Super grateful for you, Mike Ryan, and see you in like 2 freaking weeks, as you would say. And then after that, in Coronado. So super excited. Those Diamond and Star Diamonds that will be attending the retreat, we will be getting educated by the best. And that's not far off. So that's it. Good night, all. I see so many little people running around. I want to kiss them all. And thank you for being on the call. I know it's a big sacrifice, and I'm grateful for you to be here. Thank you, Mike Ryan, everybody. Round of applause, round of applause. And I shall see you later.
All right, you guys are awesome. Thanks.
Bye.